Say what is 25 times 25?
Okay, what is 25 times 25?
625.
Okay, what is 250 times 250?
250 times 250 equals 60,000 and 62,500.
Hey guys, welcome to this video. This is the very first video in this channel, which is about documenting the journey of my son David here, who's 4 years old, who we think is mathematically gifted. Now, I say journey because we don't know if he's really truly mathematically gifted. We have seen signs of him being really inclined to math and having an affinity for doing math problems. And he's only 4 years old. So we figured as we explore this, we document the journey so that other parents can see what we are about to do and how we're gonna approach it and test it and figure out the best path for him in terms of education and nurturing his talents and really figuring out this as we go through it because we don't know. So David, just for background, is the youngest of 3 boys. So we have 2 other children. Maximus, who's 8 years old, and Benjamin, who is 7 years old, and he's the youngest, and he is 4, about to turn 5. So technically he's 5, he is 4 years old and 11 months. So we're not quite sure whether this is gonna be one video kind of thing or just an entire channel. So this is just a first video. So we're gonna go through this step by step and figure out, his education, whether we're gonna put him in some kind of math camp, or anything like that. So we're gonna approach this step by step here. Just to give you a little bit of background and context, we live in New Jersey, and New Jersey is known to be the Garden State, and we live in a small town in Bergen County. Obviously now it's beautiful with the colors changing in the fall. We are in November of 2020, and we've gotten to appreciate nature and doing things outside ever since the pandemic and the lockdown started in March of 2020. And so we live here, and I work in the city usually, right now working from home. But the interesting thing maybe about this is that I work in accounting. Both actually me and my wife work in accounting. And so it's kind of interesting and curious that our child is super interested in numbers. And so it could be genetics, it could be, just by being exposed to us in general who work with numbers all day. I'm not sure what it is, but whatever it is, it's something that we're going to explore together in this journey and figure out whether there is something there that requires special sort of education or nurturing, or it's just maybe he's a little bit better than average in math. So, David, do you want to just come here and talk to us for a little bit?
So with you?
Yeah. Can you? Yeah. Can you be here for a second so we can talk?
Okay.
Okay. So can you look in the camera here, and we can talk a little bit?
Okay.
Okay. So you like math, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sit here. All right. So, can I ask you like a math question?
Yeah.
Okay. What's 2 plus 2?
4.
What's 4 times 4?
16.
Okay. What about the square root of 16?
4 times 4.
Okay. What about
256.
how much?
256.
What is 256?
256 is 16 times 16.
Okay, so 16 times 16 is 256. Okay, I didn't even ask you that. Fine. What about
No, you is 25 times 16.
let me adjust the camera here a little bit. What was that?
25 times 16.
25.
No, I mean, yeah.
What's the question again?
25 times 16.
25 times 16?
Yeah, like 25, like 2, 5, and 16, like 1, and like 6, 1.
You mean 16 is 1/6, right? 25 times 16? What is 25 times 16?
400. Now you
Okay, okay, that makes sense. That I can...
say what is 25 times 25.
Okay, what is 25 times 25?
625.
Okay, what is 250 times 250?
250 times 250 equals 60,000 and 62,500.
Okay, I believe you. What about, can we go up a little bit in numbers? Can we do like 260 times 260?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's 260 times 260?
260 times 260 equals 67,600.
67,000?
And 600.
And 600, okay. I don't know how to do these numbers, guys, myself, so I guess I'm gonna check it later, but I think probably right. All right, what's the square root of 1 million?
1 million, 1,000.
Okay.
1,000 times 1,000.
Okay. So guys, like, mind you, he's 4. Okay. Like I don't know when I started to do multiplication when I was a kid. I've always been good with numbers, but I don't think I started at 4. I think maybe I started multiplying single digits when I was maybe 6, just for my talking to my mother. But so this tells me that maybe he's gifted, but again, like, I don't want to jump to conclusions and believe that he's gifted, because maybe he's not, and maybe he's just a little bit above average. So we're definitely going to be exploring this and figuring out his past. And the reason why also I want to document this, and maybe I mentioned it already, is that if you have a child as well who is slightly above average, you might be wondering whether you can give him some special attention and maybe nurture that talent to get it to another place, so that will help him later on in life. To give you some context, also, like, in terms of reading and writing, he's 4, he doesn't even start preschool yet. So in terms of reading and writing, he is, I will get average. Like, he's not talented in reading or writing. He's interested in letters and reading, and he knows some words, and he knows how to write some words. But in terms of reading and writing, we haven't seen any evidence of him excelling there. So I don't think it's a global talent. I don't think he's talented in every aspect of things. I think he's talented in terms of numbers and math. And obviously with that, just to be upfront, he is super hyperactive, and I think that's because his mind is always trying to come up with calculation. I think he wakes up just like talking about numbers and how to calculate numbers and add and do things. I'm gonna get to it in other videos, but he does some other things with numbers that I haven't seen children do before. Also, he uses, if you see behind us, there is the Legos. Can we show them the Legos? So he's using these Legos. The interesting thing about the Legos is that, can I borrow one piece?
What?
Can I borrow to show them in the camera? He's using Legos in a different way that I've seen other kids use it before, because he counts with Legos, but he's counting using the round circles on top. He's not counting each one of these. He's counting. So this gives him abilities to count, higher numbers and multiply and do all kind of stuff. So anyways, this was episode 1 of, I don't know how many, but it's been fun. And David?
Daddy, so there are 190 square Legos.
190 square Legos? Okay. Again, so I don't know if it's Rain Man necessarily, but he's typical in other aspects. I don't think he's on the spectrum of autism. I don't think. We don't know yet, but I don't think he is, because he's typically interested in other kids, and he's social. He's attentive, like you could talk to him and ask him questions. He's hyperactive, like a typical 4-year-old, maybe slightly above the range of hyperactivity. He's can be a little bit too much at times, but again, we don't know yet. Our 2 other kids are just like average kids. they're slightly talented in one way or another in other fields. I'll go into that in the future. One of them is into computer science, and the 8-year-old, and he's into coding and JavaScript and stuff like that. The 7-year-old is into other things like singing and piano and other things, but nothing out of the ordinary, just like in the normal range as I would imagine. It's just that David here is slightly above average, and I wanted to document that and explore it. Again, have no idea what that leads to, but anyway, this was episode 1, and I'll see you in the next one.